Have any of you heard the prayer of St. Patrick or the deer's cry? God before me, God beneath me, God in front of me, God on the left, God on the right. Everything about God. It's his whole life is God. God is everything to him, everything around him, everything in him. And Patrick, and then there was the story of how that came about. The Druids hated Patrick because of what he was doing in Ireland. He was transforming Ireland, bringing the entire nation to Christ without, like I said, with only nation evangelized peacefully on earth. The power that this man walked in, the influence that he had over kings. And they hated him, so they would lie in wait when he would travel from town to town to kill him. And Patrick often moved with 20 men. He had 20 people that he would move with. And what would happen is they would be walking along the roads and whatever, and then the Lord would say, Patrick, the Druids are waiting to kill you. And he would tell him exactly where it is. And just before they would get there, Patrick and his men, Patrick would shapeshift or transform into a deer, and his men would shapeshift and transform into 20 fawns, and they would walk past the Druids and their men, and the Druids would look, oh, there's a deer and 20 fawns, and they wouldn't do anything because they were waiting for Patrick and his men. When they were within a safe distance away, they would transform back into men. Now the occult does that. We were on a mission trip, and the one night we were laughing outside our tent, and so I unzipped the tent, and we opened the tent, and there was a hyena about that far away from us, where Kay is, and we nearly wet my pants, and there were 4 or 5 of us in the tent, and we all saw the hyena, so we rebuked it, and as we rebuked it, it shapeshifted into a witch doctor, and then he ran away. If Patrick can do it, there is stuff that is coming that if we will choose to engage and choose to walk in it, that is going to mind freak people. God used what he did with Patrick for kingdom purposes, to preserve his life. And this didn't just happen once. It wasn't a once-off occurrence that it happened. It happened many times, so many times, in fact, that they eventually wrote a song called The Deer's Cry. And Patrick didn't call it that. They called it that because it was in honor of what would happen. In my own life, this has happened to me 6 times for the same reason, where women were about to be raped. And I was there, and I transformed into a bear and dealt to the rapists.